Hi, Nikki.
Good evening,
Hi,
everybody.
John and Carrie. Thank you so much for being here. And Robin, who has been so nervous about getting in tonight. And here she is, star of the show.
Yeah.
Whoopsie daisy.
No.
Get my hair out of my eyes so I can see. All right. So here we go. Okie dokie, just getting my background set up because you know how good I am with tech. All right. So we've got, as I said, a couple more people coming, but, they might be coming in late. So if you'd like to just take a minute just to introduce yourself, why you're here, what you thought you might be able to get out of this workshop. And, that'll do. Just those two things. Who wants to go first?
All right, I'll go. Hi, I'm Robin, and I have sciatic pain, and I'm hoping to get a little relief and understanding. I suppose, 1 and 2, relief.
Excellent. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
I'll go.
Oh, there we go.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, okay.
I have I've come along tonight. I've attended quite a number of these 5-day workshops, and you never remember everything. You never ever remember everything. There's so much information, and it's all golden, but you never remember everything. So even just I finally remembered the breathing. But yay! But the how to put your body into a place where it can heal itself. Can't remember a damn thing. So I'm here again to write it all down, forget it in a week. But that's okay because Vicky's amazing and these are great sessions.
Thanks, Nikki. John.
Yeah, I'm here at my wife's insistence. Now, I've had the proverbial bad back for 12, 14 years, and occasionally, you endeavour to do something about it, but never quite follow through. So after that period, I'm a very slow learner, so I'll try again to be disciplined and, just to reduce the chances of it happening. We've got 8 grandchildren, and I enjoy doing stuff with them, including climbing trees and stuff like that. So part of the reason is to take a longer term view that I can minimise any pain from these from some of my back and leg symptoms.
Okay, so consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of the things we'll be talking about. Okay, so I am going to start sharing my slides because it helps keep me on track because, as Nikki said, there's a lot of information in here and I can go off on little tangents because I've got so much stuff packed in my head. Now, Nikki said she can't remember the exercises. Now, Nikki, this is my book of exercises. So the ones that I teach you are the nice, easy ones, that get, for most people, fairly good, quick results. But so I've been doing this work for nearly 30 years. So it's 28 years I've been working with ortho-bionomy. And you think, heck, I don't know what ortho-bionomy is, never heard of it. Is it a quack stuff? What's going on? So ortho-bionomy is a branch of osteopathic work. The man who invented it was actually an osteopath. He was also a judo instructor and also a photographer. Very, very observant. And as a karate instructor, he and his students would get hurt from time to time, and he would go up to this particular osteopath And now we'll never know, because Arthur had a very dry sense of humour. So we'll never know if this was true or not, but I think it probably is. The osteopath said to him one day, you know, Arthur, if you learn how to do this stuff, you could help your students get better much faster, because once an injury's been in the body for 24 hours, the body starts to make adjustments for the injury, and they take a while to go away. And so Arthur took that on. Now, he wasn't your average osteopathic student. He didn't have medical aspirations. He didn't have, high education. He, as I said, a karate instructor, photographer, driving school instructor. And it took him a while to find a school who'd take him in, and he found an osteopathic school in London. He did not like giving or receiving the forced manipulations that were being taught in the 60s. Because back in the 60s, osteopathic work, like many other professions, was very much, I'm the practitioner, you're the client, I fix you, you do as you're told, you'll get better. And if you don't get better, it's your fault, because I did what I was supposed to do. And so he didn't like that philosophy very much. But he also believed that the body's reflexes were amazing, because he started to notice that both for himself and his students, when they were in competition or gradings, when people started to think about what they were doing, they would get injured, because the brain is so slow compared with the reflexes. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've jumped because there's been a loud noise or a fright, and then you've realised a half a second after you jumped that you actually have your feet off the ground. And so if you've been in that situation, you've already had the experience of your nervous system being much smarter than your brain. Because if you relied on your brain to get you out of that trouble, to get you to jump or move, you would have already been hit by whatever it was. And I know I love tea. So I've got this big wall of teas, and every once in a while I pull one down and another one falls, but I'm always able to catch it even before I even realise it's falling, because my reflexes are doing that work for me. I don't have to think about it, because I've already got a tea in this hand, and I'm able to do the other one. And I'm not sporty. Like my relatives will tell you, I am the klutz of the family when it comes to sports. So even I have got reflexes that work really well. And so tonight we're going to learn a little bit about reflexes. We're going to learn, over the 5 days, we're going to learn about, actually, let's go to the slides. Let's go to the slides, because she can waffle. Okay, let's go back to Zoom and share screen. Oopsie-daisy. Oopsie-daisy, where are we? Share. Move up. So you will learn that my tech skills are improving, but they're not great. We have all sorts of little hiccups as we go. So can you see the screen? Let's go to this one. Is this the one? Yes, this is the one. Okay. So can everyone see that?
Yeah, yes.
Good. All righty. So over the 5 days, this is basically going to be our program. So tonight I'm going to tell you a little bit about ortho-bionomy, but also look at some of the dumb ways that you've been told to reduce pain. Tomorrow we're going to learn a 5-minute hack to regulate your nervous system and teach it how to settle pedal and not cause you so much strife. On day 3, you're going to retrain that nervous system to start releasing muscle tension that can be really chronic, that's been chronic, but we're going to retrain your nervous system in a few minutes on day 3. Day 4, we're going to start building some postural alignment, and on day 5, we're going to be feeling so much more confident and being able to move forward. And so This is basically how my program works. So I have 3 pillars in my program: balance, alignment, and success. And so we've already talked a little bit about nervous system regulation and how it helps manage pain and also manage stress, because I don't know about you, but whenever I'm in pain, I'm stressed, and when I'm stressed, I'm usually in pain. They work very much together. Learning how to stay in alignment, release the patterns that have been incredibly powerful and strong and were very useful at the time but have now become redundant, is really important, because if we don't release those patterns, we can't start to build strength in the muscles that have lost power in that time and correct our posture. I'm just checking some messages that have just come through, because there might be some people trying to get in. Okay, so one of the people who was hopefully coming tonight is not able to be here, so hopefully we'll see her tomorrow night. And then, as John said, that one of the big issues with follow through is being able to bring all that structural change and get structural integrity, and that takes consistent action, and you need someone to help be there with you to help sustain that transformation. And once that all happens, it's really quite fascinating. There's a change, and I see it time and time and time again in people's self-confidence and the way that they just walk in the world. It's very, very incredible. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. How does that sound? Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Any questions about that?
Not yet.
John? Not
Yes.
yet. Okay, good. All righty. So you might be wondering how, oops, no, we're not sharing. Stop share. You might be wondering how I got here. So at 16, I started nursing. I was super keen. And I've just recently retired. So I've been a registered nurse for 50 years, and I've been nursing for 54 years. And at the age of 16, I had a couple of accidents. And at 16, they didn't bother me. I was fine. 16-year-olds bounce. My son was born 10 years later. 11 years later, 27 and a half, and he was very unwell and had 3 major surgeries in the first 6 weeks of his life, had all sorts of surgical complications, was a very unhappy baby. He was in a lot of pain. He screamed basically for 5 years, but the first 16 weeks he did not stop screaming. I was carrying this baby all the time and not getting any sleep. So you can imagine it was just a weeny bit stressful. And then over the next couple of years, my marriage started to fall to pieces, and then the relationship broke down. And so that was really stressful as well. So all of that impacted what was going on in my neck and shoulders as a consequence of the accident. So it was like insult to injury. I started having trouble with my neck and shoulders and started getting treatment. I was getting a massage every fortnight for 10 years, a remedial massage. And I don't know if any of you have ever had a remedial massage. It's not a walk in the park. It hurts. And so I put up with that all that time. And then another 10 years time, I was working as a registered nurse in one of Brisbane's busy private hospitals, and I re-injured at work. I'd done one injury in the right arm while I was gardening, and so I had to sort of pretend that wasn't there. But then I injured my left shoulder, and I actually tore the biceps. So I had this hand, which I couldn't use. I damaged the deltoid, and plus I had tennis elbow, and I was having wrist problems. So I couldn't use my right hand to open pill bottles, drip bottles, couldn't make beds, couldn't dress myself. I was a bit useless, actually. And then when I tore the biceps on this side, I could not use this arm at all. And so I was sent off to the hospital rehab, and they didn't take into consideration I had all these neck injuries, all this other stuff going on. They were just working with my biceps. And funnily enough, it didn't repair terribly well. And after 16 weeks of rehab, I got called up to the HR department to say, you're not performing how we'd like, and we're going to have to let you go. I was a bit flummoxed because I had no intention of doing anything else in my life. I was a nurse. I've been a nurse since I was 4. And it's like, this is my job. This is my profession. I had a mortgage, a teenager, a single mum. It was awful. It was a terrible, terrible day. And of course, my pain all flared up. I went off to my massage therapist, and he said, I think I need to refer you to an osteopath. And that's how I found Ortho-Bionomy. So I went to this osteopath, and she did this really gentle work, like really small movements and really slow. And I nearly fell asleep. It was very unusual. I was like, what's she doing? 3 sessions later, 50% of my pain had gone away and my movement and flexibility started to come back. And I started to ask questions like, what is this? What are you doing? Because I'd been to an osteopath before, and this was not like anything I'd had before. And she said, this is Ortho-Bionomy. Just happened that there was an instructor coming to town. I went to the introduction, got chosen to be one of the demonstrations, and had the most incredible experience in a 5-minute demonstration, and went, okay, I'm signing up for the weekend. So I did the weekend course, and at the end of the weekend I said, okay, I'm signing up for the 5 years training. That's it. This is what I'm doing. And that's how I came to be an Ortho-Bionomy practitioner. And I've been doing it ever since. That was 1997. And because of my nursing training, I just seemed to understand it. It was like I just needed to be shown what to do. It was almost second nature. I was so excited. And I had a friend who had a session soon after I'd done my very first course, which was so that you could use it on yourself and friends and relatives. Like, you certainly couldn't go near the public. And I had my notebook, and I'm going, she said, I got a really sore shoulder. I said, okay. So we got the doona out on the dining table, and she laid there, and I had my notes. Is that comfortable? Okay, good. Okay, so next one. Followed the instructions. It was clunky. It was awkward. It was like something else. She rang me the next morning. She said, Vicki, we need to talk. And I thought, I'm in trouble. She said, when I went to bed last night, I had one young shoulder and one old shoulder. When can I get the rest of me young? And she became my best referrer. So she was a school teacher, and she had kids in all sorts of sports and arts and all. So she had lots and lots of friends all around the place and she would say, you need to go see Vicki. You need to go see. So I ended up with all of these people, and that's how I initially built my clientele. So yeah, it was a very fortuitous start, and I felt like it was definitely what I was meant to do. And so, is it okay if I share with you what my whole program looks like, and so that you've got a bit of an idea what's going to happen at the end of 5 days? And so with this program, I have the 5-day sciatica success, so that you can get a bit of an idea about who I am, how I work with you, how this works with you so that you can make a decision. And then the next level is, oops-a-days, where am I? Not there, this one. The next level up is the Freedom from Pain program, which is a 14-week program, which is $14.90 US. And of course, I have a 12-month program for people who really want to get well, and that's a $4,975 program. But you're more than welcome to come into this program and enjoy, as Nikki has, the 5-day program. I am here to serve, and I know that by serving people, I get nourished, but I also nourish the community, and I start to spread the word about ortho-bionomy, which is what I'm really here to do, and also to offer people long-term wellness, which I don't see a lot happening out in the community. And so this is one of the reasons why I've developed this program, because it takes our muscles about 12 weeks to reorganize themselves when we start a program like this. And for people who want to go really deep and clear out all the emotional stuff and everything else that happens, because when we've got an injury, there's always an emotion that's caught up in it. There's always stress, there's always tension. And to be able to have that ongoing support for 12 months is really, really valuable. And so let's talk a little bit about how we get here, how you got here with, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. No? Yes, we can. Okay. All righty.
Wow. There we are.
There we go. All right. And so lower back pain and sciatica usually happens because we've got habits, some old habits that we're not aware of, and injuries, recent and past, that start to cause strife in our musculature and our bony structure. That starts to cause weaknesses and imbalances. And so, as I said, some of those are from injury and some of them are postural, and most of them we're not aware of. And of course, you'll probably notice that when you've got pain, you're stressed, and when you're stressed, usually you get pain. They go hand in hand. And so we cannot separate stress from our injuries, and we can't separate our injuries from our stress. So some of the biggest mistakes that we make is we start pushing too hard, too fast. And I see this a lot with younger people and with men generally, but I've seen it with women as well. It's not like we're superhuman and we're excluded. When we push too hard on injuries that are still healing, we can re-injure, and that is sometimes worse than the initial injury. One of the things that we've been told is good for us is, things like chiropractic and physio and those sorts of things, where we're trying to force things into changing, and having cortisone injections and sometimes even surgery. And our bodies do not like being forced into change. We are a self-healing mechanism, and if it can't figure out how to change itself, it's very reluctant to change. And then we have those old habits that we talked about before, the postural things, the thought patterns, how we eat, how we sleep, how we move, how we sit in our car, and how we do our day-to-day tasks. And so I'm sure that you've tried some or all of these. So when we've got pain, I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I have to go and rest a lot more. If you go to the doctor, you'll be prescribed some muscle relaxants and painkillers. And even if you're just using ibuprofen and Panadol, you are masking the situation. You're not actually dealing with the core problem. rest is definitely a way that we can recover. But when you start using rest as your primary way of dealing with pain, start to lose condition, and then your muscle structure and your bony structure can no longer support the changes that are needing to be made. We already talked about chiropractors and physios and other practitioners that use therapy where they're forcing the body into change. Some of us have even tried YouTube. It's like in desperation. There must be something out there that's better than what I'm doing. Many people have had massages, acupuncture, yoga, Bowen, the A to Z, and I was one of them. Definitely don't condemn anyone who's tried everything. And when things are really, really, really bad, we'll put on the back belt, or we'll use some K-tape, or we'll have a knee support, or we'll have a shoulder support, and sometimes we've even been given neck braces. Can you relate? Can you relate to that? Yep. Hi, Glenys, welcome.
Oh, sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. We've just done a little bit of a preamble. I've talked about how I got to be here, where I've come from, and what Ortho-Bionomy is, which is the system that we're going to be using over the next few days. So if you want to learn a little bit about that, you can go and have a listen to the recording in the first, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, and you'll be able to catch up with that. Let me just see where we're up to. Move along. Whoops-a-daisy. And Glenys, I've already talked about it to the others. I'm very good at what I do, but tech is not my strong point. Okay, so you'll start to learn this as we go along. And so what do we get when we've used all of those other ways of getting better? Is we get temporary relief. You know, if you've been to a chiropractor and it's good for a day and then it comes back, that's temporary relief. And then the pain comes back. Sometimes it comes back even more violently than it did before. And when that system starts happening, you get pain relief, and then it comes back, and then you get re-injured, and then you start feeling crook, and then you start giving yourself a bad time, and you start, your life starts to diminish, and you get scared to move, because if I move, I might make it worse. And so you start limiting your life. And when that happens, we start to lose confidence in our own body. Our bodies are miraculous, and we start forgetting that we are a miracle. Just going to do a little screen share again. Okay, can you see those slides? Can you see that one? Missing pieces?
Yep.
Okay. And so what I see, I saw in my nursing practice, and I saw in the treatment that I was receiving, all of the A to Zs that I was looking for, because I needed to get better. I couldn't afford to be off work. I couldn't afford to be in pain. I couldn't afford to needing to take 2 or 3 days rest. And I definitely could not afford to be on medication that was numbing my brain and my nervous system. I was a registered nurse, and that you just can't do that stuff. And so the missing pieces were that no one was teaching me how to work with my nervous system, to be able to manage my nervous system, to settle my pain and start to listen to what was really happening in my body. This is one of the first pieces that you'll be learning tomorrow, but this is the most important piece, and that's why I teach it first up, because we're going to follow through all week with it. The next thing that I see not happening terribly well is people being taught how to slowly load the injury so that it starts to get strong. And by that, I mean, so here you've got a picture of someone standing on one leg. if you've got sciatica, it's likely that your back muscles are super tight, your core muscles have stopped working, and some of your glutes, your quads, and goodness knows what else are in a state of panic. Some are working, some are overworking, some aren't working. And so being able to slowly start to load the muscles and the joints and the tissues that have been damaged to a point that is safe and comforting, but also slowly building strength without getting more injuries. And this is really relevant for people over the age of 40. Under 40, our bodies are pretty resilient. Once we hit 40, there's this, I don't know what happens, but our bodies are much more easily damaged when we don't listen correctly and we don't go through the rehabilitation program in a slow, steady and measured way. And this is one of the things I'm really, really particular about. And John, this next piece is for you. This one is that we don't have enough support to be able to be more regular with the work that we're doing so that we can continue to get better. Because I don't know about you guys, but healing is not a straight line. We don't start here and then go up to the apex. We'll make a few changes and then we notice that something else is not working terribly well and we have a bit of a dip. Or we have we eat something that upsets our system, causes a whole lot of inflammation, and then we have to sort of go back a little bit. Or I've just, one of my clients this week, it's the anniversary of his mother's death this month, and his sister died yesterday. So now he's got 2 deaths just after Christmas every year. And guess what? His pain is playing up. And so life happens. We cannot avoid it. But when you've got a community around you, when you've got a system that you can stick to, and when you've got someone like myself that you can message and get support, it's so much easier to stay on track. And when you've got a program that has weekly check-ins, you're going to definitely get the benefits from it. And this last little one here is time. Injuries take time. And if it's been an injury that's been around for a while, like John, you were saying, 12 to 14 years, that's going to take a little bit of time to undo all of the stress patterns that your body has put in place to try and protect you over all that time. And there'll be habits and patterns and behaviours that you've put in place to get through that. And you're going to need to find a way to work with them so that you can get the most benefit out of those habits and patterns rather than sending you back into the pain cycle again. So it's a very, very long-term view of what I'm doing here. This is not a quick fix. This is not for people who are not committed. It's not for people who are just looking for, I just want the drop in the bucket. I want it over and done with, because pain gets into our nervous system, it gets into our lymphatic system, it gets into our muscular system, and it gets into our thought patterns. And we need to be able to work with that and to be able to have support of a great community. And the people that I work with, they are all amazing. I don't have anyone in my paid clients that I wouldn't sit down to a meal with. They're all incredible people. And so they are all there to be part of your support system as well. Let me have a look what we're up to next. We've done that. Okay, so this is something I want you to write down. Are we sharing? Here we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to write this down. The problem isn't your body. The problem has been the approach. And so this next 5 days, we're going to be looking at a completely new approach. It's going to sometimes feel a bit like, does this girl know what she's doing? Because this doesn't seem to be doing much. But it is definitely a program that I know works. I've used it on many, many people. And it is definitely the way, I had 10 years of neck pain with arm, hand, wrist problems and low back problems through that whole time. And the work that I'm going to share with you was what helped me. As I said, in 3 visits, I had 50% of my pain had gone away. It took me a little while longer to have that as a long-term solution, because the slightest little thing would happen. I'd trip off a gutter, or I'm a clumsy klutz. I'd trip over something, or I'd pick up a bag of groceries that was too heavy, or I'd be carrying my son because he was screaming all night with an ear infection. And guess what? My symptoms would come back. And so it took me a little while. But I know this works. Any questions so far? Any comments, anything that sort of stuck out and you're like, oh, I'm really pleased you're talking about that? Nope. Okay, let's move on. And so one of the things that I know about health is it's very much like trust. That trust is one of those things that's easily broken, and it's really difficult to rebuild once it's been compromised. And it takes time and it takes consistent actions to restore trust. And when you've had a health problem that's been going on for a while, it takes a while for your body to start to understand that, yes, this is the way that you can get out of the problem. And that the thing is, if you don't start now, when are you going to start? Our health is an expendable resource. Once we lose it, we spend a lot of time and money trying to regain it. And we're not always successful if we don't find partners that work with us. So I want you just to think about this for a little while. How long have you been trying with short-term fixes to fix a long-term problem? Been a while? Yeah. If what you're doing was going to work, wouldn't it have worked by now? Yeah. And what would change in your life if you trusted your body again? Today's, I don't want to stop recording. Go away. What would change? Just give you a minute to think about it. Just think about the things that would be different if your body wasn't feeling like it was letting you down, if you weren't feeling restricted, if you weren't feeling exhausted. What if you had all the energy that you needed and you could do all of the things that you dreamed about? All the things that at the moment you have second guess yourself on, because it's like, I don't know why I do it. I've got a permanent ankle injury that the medical profession can't help me with. And I know what it's like living with chronic pain. And if I get invited somewhere, first question is, how far am I going to have to walk? Is it hilly? How long will I be able to sit down? Are there I need to know the landscape before I'll even say yes. And those sorts of things are running through my mind all the time. So this is going to be your homework. You have a homework each night. So the homework is going to be to write down what would your life look like if you didn't have this issue. What would change? You. Oh my, I frighten myself every once in a while. And so our health is our true wealth. Our wealth builds our lifestyle, and our health lets us live it. And so even on a limited income, if you don't have health, a lot of your resources are going into paying for medications and doctor's appointments and tests, and transport and carers if you're really in a bad way. It's like, wow, you know, if you started adding up how much money was being spent on medication, appointments and tests, lost income, lost opportunities, it's scary. It's really scary. And so, I up to. So this is what happens when we get caught in the system. I'm going to share screen. Yes, this is what happens. So we start to become a product of the system. We're going for observations, examinations, operations. And prescriptions. It's just going, and medication. It's just going on and on. It's a circular system. I know. I worked in it for 54 years. I know it really well. Once you get into the system, it's almost like it's like a vacuum. It sucks you in. It's really hard to get out. And if you start saying to your practitioner, listen, I want to get off these drugs. Don't want to do this anymore. It's like you get that look. Well, what are you going to do? What are your options? This isn't very wise. It's very difficult to get out of the system and you can feel really trapped and powerless. And I've been there and I've seen so many people there where they're being told the only option is surgery. Now, you know, you don't have anything else, any other options. Well, I'm not sure that that's always the truth. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, and I will actually say very rarely to my clients, I think the surgery is a good option for you here. But most people can improve, if not restore their health, by taking some really well thought out steps with good support ongoingly. They can change their outcomes. And when you decide to step out of the system, there's this overwhelm. It's like, what do I do now? Am I being crazy? You'll have not just the doctor, you'll have your friends, you'll have your relatives, you'll have any passerby who knew anything about your condition will start to give you some advice. And that's not always helpful. Here we go. And so pain is a bit like a domino effect. It happens over time. Most of the time. Sometimes it's a motor vehicle accident, a car accident, a work accident. But even if it's a work accident, usually it's a task that you've been doing for some time and something's happened. And it's usually a combination of things. Dehydration, overwork, repetitive action, and stress. And you put that combination together, and that's usually when accidents happen. It's usually when injuries happen. Occasionally it is like someone falls, 10 stories down a building or they get hit by a car. Yes, that's immediate. But most of the time it's a domino effect. And what we really need to do is find out the cause. We need to get right to the root of things, not just write a prescription. We need to get right back to what's going on. Where is this coming from? How has this affected my whole body? And so to be able to make effective changes, we need to have effective habits. We need to look at our whole posture. How are our legs moving? How are we using our feet? How is our core working? How are our ribs supporting our back? How's our neck working? Is our head sitting in the right place? Are we breathing correctly? Are we eating properly? Are we sleeping properly? All of those things need to be looked at. And so, how's your mindset? Have you got all of those systems in place so that it seems like it's natural now? It's not something that you have to keep doing and thinking about, that it actually becomes part of your lifestyle, and that those habits become normal so that you're using effective posture and work habits without having to think about it. And so preventing and knowing how to resolve pain is paramount, because if you've got an old injury, it's easy to re-injure. And once you re-injure, you need to be able to know how to go back. So once you're on a pathway, you can hit any sort of roadblock. It can be that one set of muscles has stopped being overactive, but now there's another set of muscles that are really weak. And that's your roadblock. But you've got to try and now figure out how to work with those weak muscles, because you've been working all this time trying to get things relaxed. Now you've got weak muscles. I thought I was trying to relax muscles. Well, yes, we need to have strong, stable muscles, bones, tendons, and joints. But how do we get around this roadblock? If you don't know all of the wherewithals, all of the problems that might happen, then you can get really stuck. Oh, and this is what can happen. Sometimes when we're down here in struggle zone, feeling like life in the red zone, feeling like life is miserable, it's very easy to start a program because we want help. It's like, I need to get out of this hell. This is not fun. And then we move up into this yellow zone, which is like, it's okay, I can manage, with some supports, but I can't live my life fully. And, I'm limited with my income and my work and my living circumstances. And, I've got some restrictions, but, I'm okay. And even there, most people will stick to a program. But the most dangerous place is this green zone. When you feel average, you feel like, it's just age. I'm getting on with it. I just need to accept that this is how life is. I can't get much better than this. I've actually come a long way from down here when I was in Struggle Town. I'm actually a lot better than I was, but I'm not as good as I can be, and I've just accepted this life of average, of normal, and it's mediocre. And I've had to give up a whole lot of things, but, it's better than where I was. I've actually done this from time to time myself. But wouldn't it be lovely if we could get to feeling our best, to living our best life, to enjoying our grandkids, enjoying planning a holiday, enjoying being able to get back to sport and being active, enjoying our hobbies, enjoying sleep and waking up every morning without pain. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to settle for average. I'm constantly striving for the best, because I know that when I'm there, I'm happier. I'm happier in my body, my mind, my spirit, my relationships. I look after my diet much better. I look after my sleep. And it's definitely the place where healing can happen. Some healing takes longer than others, but it's certainly not going to happen when we fall back into, oh, I'll just settle for this. This is okay. It's all right. That's not where healing happens. That's where we're generally stuck. So the freedom from pain method is easy to learn. We use positions of comfort, and that's something that you will learn over the next few days, how to find those positions of comfort. It's designed for your body, by your body. So don't worry, everyone's not the same. We're all going to be a little bit different, and I will be working with you individually and as a group. And we treat the cause. We're not going to skip past it and just pretend. I guarantee results. I guarantee results in this 5-day program that you will feel something change. There will be a difference. In my Freedom from Pain program, it's guaranteed results, and I keep working with you until we get the results that we both agree are going to be the outcome for that program. It's safe, and you start to learn how to do that progressive loading that I talked about, that once we start to release the tension patterns and start to feel a little bit of ease and grace, then we start learning how to progressively load the muscles that are weak and unload the muscles that have been too tight to start getting that long-term support and alignment that we're really looking for. And so I'd like you to write this down. I'll just go to here. Where am I? I'm here. I'm going to share screen again. Oops, no, that's not what I'm doing. Where am I? Lost myself again. Keep doing that. Here. This is what I want you to write down. Doing nothing isn't free. It's just quietly expensive. So what do I mean by that? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And the things that you are spending money on now, medications, examinations, operations, injections, all that sort of stuff, even though we live in a very lucky country and a lot of us are getting free or almost free medication, or, with the system, if you're really unwell, what is it really costing you in your social life, in your health and well-being, in your confidence, and in your bank account? Are you able to create the income that you'd like to be able to? Are you able to create the emotional security and spiritual security around yourself? That's what's costing by not being able to take care of yourself. So tomorrow, is this where we're up to? Can't believe we're here. Yes, we are. So tomorrow we're going to learn how to nourish our nervous system, and I'm going to teach that to you in a few minutes. And most of the time, around about 90% of the time, it's pretty immediate and it works really, really well. And so I'm excited to be able to share that with you. And so we've got some homework. So where's my homework? Here it is. So day 1 homework. What would change in your life if you started to trust your body again? And so I'm going to ask you to post your thoughts in the Sciatica Success Messenger pod. If you are not a member in that pod yet, you may need to friend me on Facebook so that I can put you in. Until at least until 4:20 p.m. tomorrow, I'm not able to message any of you unless you're a friend of mine. So if we're not friends on Facebook, if you could kindly request a friend, do a friend request for Vicki Tate, and I will acknowledge that and get you into the Sciatica Success Messenger pod. So what would change in your life if you trusted your body again? And for the overachievers, if you want to write down 3 goals that you want to achieve in the next 3 months, that would be amazing. Now, I will post this in the Messenger pod so that it's there. See if I can manage to do that. I was having trouble last time. And I will also put the recording into the Messenger pod. So if you want to go back and listen to any of this, you can do that. So we've got a few minutes left. What are your thoughts about what we're going to be doing over the next 5 days? Have you got any questions or any comments?
You've outlined it fairly well, actually. It all makes sense, and so I can see the progression that's going to happen over the next 4 days or 5 days, as you said. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I'm pleased about that, John, because I know you were a little bit of a reluctant starter. Gary's laughing. And that's okay. I'm okay with reluctant starters because you know what? Skeptics usually end up my biggest fans. So I'm okay that you're a skeptic, and ask questions, and, really, if you're not sure about something, put your hand up. I'm not going to embarrass you. I really want everyone to be able to understand and feel safe in this environment. That's my goal. Anybody else got a question or comment? All good?
No,
Robin?
I would just like to say, the sciatic problem I have has not been that long term. It's only a recent thing. And I've never trusted the medical profession anyway. So I am a converted alternate therapy person. Never trusted doctors. So I suppose it's my upbringing. But I've seen people in that roundabout that you were talking about, that, cycle, and I can see what you mean by that, but I'm not a part of that.
That's okay. Welcome. I trust that you'll find how we work here works with your body. And again, like I said to John, if there's something that doesn't make sense, you're not sure about, or you're doing what you think I've just said, but it's not working for you, please say something. Because one of the tenets of the work that I do is that it works on positions of comfort. And so if you're okay, but you're not comfortable, you're not there yet. And so please put your hand up and say, look, I think I'm doing what you asked, but I'm not sure. But just please, definitely this is for you. And I'm not there in your space exactly, but I rely on your feedback, and when I've got a whole group of you, I rely on your feedback. Tomorrow night you'll need a chair, which you've all got. You're all sitting in chairs tonight, which is great. And so just come as you are. If you want to come in your jammies, that's fine. So you can just roll straight into bed afterwards. That's fine too. I like that. Thoroughly support that. Nikki, you've been here a few times before. Anything that you want to say?
If you're not sure, keep coming, because it's worth it. And I know for some people, and I don't think of it as an alternative therapy. For me, it's part and parcel, because I've had a similar experience as Robin. The medical profession couldn't give me an answer, so they just wrote me off. And that was more than once. So to me, it's just part and it might not make sense, and you might not see how it will work for you, but it does work, and it is as simple as it sounds. So if you're still not sure, keep coming, because it's definitely worth it, and it definitely works.
Thank you. Yeah, so all I can say that Nikki's got a whole lot of stuff. As she said, the medical profession have sort of gone, you're too complex, you're the problem. And yeah, that happens sometimes, and it's very sad. It's very sad. So Glenys, how have you felt about what I've been sharing so far tonight?
Yeah, I equate with everything that
Excellent.
you're saying. Yeah, I used to be a massage therapist, and I'm being, I'm more alternative than I am medical. And I trust that, it works.
Excellent.
I think you mentioned earlier it was ortho-bionomy. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yes.
I did touch on that years and years and years ago, ortho-bionomy. But
Okay. Yeah, so ortho means straighten or correct. A lot of people think it's auto, but it's ortho, which is orthodontics, orthopedics, orthotics, straighten or correct, and then bio, life, and NOMI studies. So it brings all of your life forces back into their natural alignment. And it does it using positions of comfort and ease, and by regulating our nervous system so that we can do that. So tomorrow night, nervous system night. It's you'll be amazed at how simple it is. You'll be kicking yourself. And so we're at the 1:30. And so if there's no more questions, I'm happy to stay if there are any more questions. But if there's no more questions, I'll close the room down.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Vicki. And
now, Robin, have I got you? Do you need to be put into the messenger group?
No, I can see myself in that. So.
Oh, you're in? Okay. Glenys, are you in the messenger group?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. We're all there. Great. And a couple of people who weren't able to make it tonight. And so in the messenger group, I will put the recording from tonight, and I'll put the homework. I'll do my best with that. My VA generally does that for me. And I was doing earlier in the day when she's working with me. And she would just put them up straight away. I have to find out how she did it, because I tried and I messed it up. But anyway, you will get used to me.
I won't see you tomorrow night. I've got an appointment, but I'm looking forward to listening to it. But I'll see you the following night.
I'll see you on Wednesday, but you'll listen to it tomorrow night. Fantastic. Thank you. Night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Pleasure.